I'm Andrew Davis with Recon Research, and here with me today is Michael Helmbrecht, the COO for Lifesize, a company well known in the video conferencing space. Michael, I'd like to ask you a few questions about your most recent announcement, which I found very intriguing, if not from a technology point of view, at least from a business point of view, and that's Rooms as a Service. Tell us, what exactly is Rooms as a Service?
Rooms as a Service is something we came to market with in December, about a little over 2 months ago, or not quite, I guess. And the idea behind it is really to create a prepackaged offering that allows customers to use an OpEx model to effectively rent technology, rent hardware that they would attach to a cloud service as opposed to buying and owning it. So it's essentially the exact same experience, the same equipment, the same service and support, the same advanced replacement, firmware updates, management, all the other things that they would get in a purchase model where they buy something and attach a service plan to it, except they're renting the whole package as an annualized operating expense.
Interesting. I have to tell you, more than 10 years ago, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world asked me about Rooms as a Service, which of course, back then, the equipment was expensive, the networks were complicated, and it really wasn't feasible. But today, if you're an end-user customer, what are the benefits of Rooms as a Service? Why would a customer be interested?
Well, I think it reduces the initial cost of getting going with a terrific video conferencing experience. And we do this today with our whole line of 4K video communication systems that pair to our cloud service. It's an end-to-end 4K video and content experience. There's really nothing like that in the market today. But what it does is it allows a customer to pay for that for a year or 2 years or 3 years, but they can pay for it on an annualized basis. They can do a 1-year subscription and then not renew if they wish not to. It really makes it an easily budgeted fixed cost to get up and going and to spin up a small office or a huddle room. And in addition to that, they can do the exact, it mirrors the subscription element they would have just for a plan on our service in general and for, enabling their users. So they can roll the whole thing into an operating budget in a fixed, predictable structure where there's no, if they were to decide to move on to someone different is for some reason in the future, they don't have any other ongoing commitment. They don't have any depreciation or capital on their balance sheet. And I think that's important. But I think the biggest thing is, perception of risk. It becomes, something that becomes very easy and lightweight to go from trial to effectively a rental experience, a subscription experience.
Well, so you brought up the magic word rental. You probably get asked this a lot. Well, how is that different from leasing?
The Rooms as a Service, the way we've set it up is one of many different offers. This is one that, we make publicly available. It's on our website. It is prepackaged and fixed, across huddle rooms to kind of mid-sized rooms to even the largest spaces across our whole line of 4K systems and service behind it. And it's, entitled on our cloud service, and it has centralized administration and all the other benefits with it. And management and, service and advanced replacement and all that. But the difference is, you're doing a fixed subscription for a period of time, let's say 1 year or 2 years, just like you would with a plan of, subscribing to our service for, 50 meeting hosts and larger call sizes so I can have 500 people in a call, or I want to have live streaming with 10,000 people able to view at a time, that kind of stuff. Audio conferencing, all the add-ons, those kind of things. And it just becomes another option that allows me to extend, a really best-in-class experience to meeting rooms of all sizes as part of that overall subscription. But it's really just a subscription with a fixed term. In leasing, generally speaking, there's more commitment involved in leasing. Leasing is usually at least a 2-year, if not a 3-year endeavor, it's often a lease to own kind of purchase model at the end. There's a notion of residual payments and all, residuals and buyouts and everything else. It's a very different kind of process. This is it's not an either or. In our perspective, we've always had, a purchase and own, right? And then you subscribe to service on an annual or multi-year basis. We've always had leasing options, and we continue to do so. And those tend to be longer terms. And then they have conversion options if you want to buy at the end of the terms. And then what we've added in is the rooms as a service kind of rental model, which mirrors exactly what the user and software subscription plans are, and it's the most flexible. And so there's, and then we have partners that offer varying terms. I mean, ours are pretty fixed. They tend to be like contracts. They're 1 year, they're 2 year, they're 3 year. We work with our partner network, and we offer, hybridization of all this for people who want to do monthly payments or quarterly payments or, whatever. There's a huge range here, but I think the benefits of rooms as a service is it gives people transparent pricing that allows them to understand exactly how they can get going and puts a boundary around their expenses and how they would build out their their video communication solution for their organization or their team, and makes it easy for them to see what's involved to get something extraordinary, and that's what we try to do.
So to be clear, your rooms as a service includes the Lifesize hardware, the Lifesize cloud, and a maintenance plan. Was that an element?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So that is a little different. You're dealing with one vendor, and you get the whole shebang.
Exactly. Complete turnkey experience.
Yep. Is there a type of customer for whom rooms as a service is more appropriate than other customer types, or is there no connection, big, small, or whatever?
I think that in general, it's not unique to one type of customer or another. I mean, some customers have traditionally wanted to capitalize and own hardware. Others have wanted to lease it. So it's not, I don't think it's necessarily, it's more investment and accounting specific in general. But I think what it does appeal to is, I think there's a lot of organizations today that are trying to decide where they invest, for how long they invest, what their commitment is. It may be because they're capital constrained and they're smaller, and that's certainly one factor in this. But it's not unique to smaller companies in that sense. I think it's also, most companies have multiple, 3, 4, 5 unified communication solutions of some kind, whether that's, for video meetings or, adjacently web conferencing, audio conferencing, all of which kind of blend together in feature sets in many ways, for team collaboration and chat, document sharing, all those kind of things. And most have a lot of them. And they're trying to figure out how do I want to use these things within my organization, what and where. And so removing any perceived risk or barriers to make it simpler to plan, simpler to understand, simpler to buy and consume, is a positive thing, I think, for all types of customers. But I think the ones that will tend to buy on this, and that we've seen so far, tend to be the ones that are just getting started, and they're trying to decide, if I move into enabling my meeting spaces, and I want to have a really extraordinary experience on that, and I want to use Lifesize and get 4K and have dedicated appliances, so I don't have to worry about all the other things that could come into the fold with more of a kit-based or shared model. This makes it much more accessible to them, and they don't have to deal with the complexity of lots of vendors and deployment choices. It's turnkey, and I think that's really going to be appealing.
Well, I think we've covered that pretty much. I thank you for your time. Before we go, can you give us a quick update on Lifesize? How are things going? What are your perceptions of the market changing or the competitive environment changing? Give us 2 minutes on Lifesize. Lifesize 101.
2 minutes on Lifesize. We just finished our fiscal year. We had a really exciting year. We've had a terrific year in terms of growing our customer base and bringing new customers in the fold. We made tremendous changes to our product line. I mean, we launched a completely new service architecture over the course of 2019. It's all brand new Kubernetes and Amazon Elastic services running a microservices architecture. I mean, it's improved performance and availability, and really our ability to serve our customers globally in a far better way. It's also sped up what was already an extraordinarily rapid development cadence of improvements and features. Coupled with that, we've launched out a full new line of 4K video and content appliances.
Yeah.
The title of that is connected devices, and added rooms as a service. And we've jumped into freemium, not just for software and users, but also for room-based devices. So we converted our Lifesize Dash software room kit into a freemium offer this fall as well. So we've got a continuum now of really beyond anyone else we compete with, from free in the web browser, totally web native across Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Edge, into free room software for tablets, and PC, Chromebox, Mac for small huddle rooms and people just getting started and trying to fan out, up through a full 4K line that you can buy and own or take as rooms as a service, backed by, an end-to-end 4K, completely modern microservices architecture. So, it's really been a huge year of getting things done and moving things forward for our customers, and really exciting for our team.
Well, I think that's a great update. And if anybody knows Lifesize, they know that your DNA is in high definition. And
that's true.
That's where the company started, and that's where you're still in the lead today. Thank you for your time. And I hope to see you. I guess I will see you at Enterprise Connect.